big news coming out of the Bunnies. We spoke about them last night, but they are at boiling point. Apparently, their assistant coaches could be stood down effective immediately. What have you got for us on this one, Dave?
Yeah, guys, look, it is significant news coming out of the South Sydney camp, and what we will know is by later tonight, I believe, we should have an indication on whether Jason Demetrio's two assistant coaches, John Morris and Sam Burgess, have severed ties effective immediately. It is in the throes of the South Sydney board, okay? So it could go two ways here, guys, but certainly all indications are that that could happen. And it just speaks to what we've been talking about over the last few days in relation to the South Sydney disharmony.
Do you think it will happen? If you had to make a call right now, do you think they're gone tomorrow?
Yes, I do, both, yes.
All right, what do we think about this?
It's a bombshell moment. Like Sam Burgess is royalty at South Sydney. John Morris is an assistant coach. I can understand it if they're on a different page to Jason Demetrio, why there has to be a change here. But if that's the case, this is Jason Demetrio's line in the sand moment. It's a very brave move, but I believe it could be potentially fatal because of who Sam Burgess is. He has total respect from all the players. He has respect from within the club, from Russell Crowe, like at every level. And if you've pushed him aside and South Sydney go on and lose to the Roosters next week and miss out on the finals, well, I'll tell you, next year he'll be coaching for his future.
There's still a chance to make the finals. This is what amazes me. They've got 2 weeks now, the bye, the week to kind of reset and try and get through this tough period, which has been terrible, right? But to make this call now, Gordy,
the timing's confusing, isn't it? So with 2 games to go, so late in the season, why would you let your coaches go?
Guys, I think we've all been around the game long enough to understand how important harmony at the coaching staff level is. And if you're talking about still making finals, well, you can't do that if there isn't harmony within the elite level of your staff.
So you think there'll be harmony after they sack the 2 coaches that apparently the players love?
Well, I'll say this, right? The head coach is re-signed. He's there long term. Sam Burgess isn't. He's heading off at the end of the year. And John Morris, I understand, won't be at South Sydney anyway next year, with all eyes on the West Tigers targeting him. So the 2 people that will be leaving the club, yes, it's premature and early, but if you don't have harmony at the coaching staff level, what chance of success do you have?
Peel it back. Why is there not harmony? Well, the talk is that people have been walking past problems that they don't believe they should be walking past. And so that's created the unrest, and that's led to this situation that we've got at the moment.
But that's what should happen. If you're coaches, you shouldn't agree, but you should have a robust conversation on what you think the team needs at that moment.
But there's obviously disharmony there. This is the outcome. I think this is not the issue.
Dave, what is it? Why? Just we know that this might happen, and you said.
So you pick up the paper today, guys, and you read that your 2 assistant coaches aren't in alliance with the head coach. Okay, what is the head coach supposed to do in that scenario, right? Given the fact, let's not pretend that this is the first time maybe Jason Demetrio's learning of this. I would like to think that there's been some robust discussions about trying to get on the same page long before today. Now, if that's the case, as I said, being the head coach for the next 3 seasons at that footy club, to Crawl's point, everything lives and dies by him. If they can't get on the same page as him, if they're not aligned, as the reports go.
What's the same page?
Well, what is it? Is it defence? Is it attack? Is it systems? Right? Is it the culture within the?
But what is it? This is the thing.
Aren't you supposed to get on the same page as the head coach?
Yes.
Yeah, and just by.
What if they aren't doing that though, Gordy?
Is this got anything to do with the stories that have broken the last few days? Is it because that they fear that the leaks are coming from the assistant coaches? Is that what it is?
Oh, I think that'd be a factor for sure. That'd be a factor. I mean, it's not great at South. The stories aren't great, are they? Like it's not.
They're not going to be great tomorrow either when they get rid of them, if they do. Like, let's be honest. Like, do we think they're just going to get rid of the assistants and they'll be offline again and they'll come out?
We saw their performances against Newcastle. We've seen their performances since they were made premiership favourites early in the year. I think they've had 5 wins, and 2 of those were against the Bulldogs. I think one of the wins was against the Tigers and one against the Warriors. But like, they've been treading water for a long time.
Yeah. Yep.
And the sinking point was this match against Newcastle last week. The vision that you showed last night, Braith, of Latrell Mitchell, it was absolutely damning. And then you saw the unrest from Latrell and Cody throughout that match. Like, Newcastle went out with a specific plan to unsettle them, and it worked throughout the whole game.
But
You know, Tyson, but Latrell played like a guy that was pissed off. We've heard for weeks that there's rumblings at this club because certain people are getting preferential treatment. That's now exploded. The next day, we find out Sam and John Morris are on the chopping block. Like, even if you move those two guys out of this situation, that's not going to fix what's going wrong at that club.
I don't have a massive... Look, OK, you say preferential treatment. You know, players at footy clubs are treated differently. That's the way it is today.
Always has been.
That's right.
True.
Right?
Yes.
True.
And Wayne Bennett is the master of it.
Yes.
About massaging a player different to the massage you get.
The difference was, Dave, when Wayne was there...
The difference is that Jason Demetriou is a 50-game coach.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
And
it happened at the Roosters. One went to the bar and both
no
one
disrespect against Jason Demetriou, but you guys said it last night. There's two coaches in the game that are going to walk in there and have a bigger personality than Latrell and Sam, and that's Bennett and probably Bellamy. That's it. And so that's unfortunately the situation he's walked into. But the fact that he is not aligned with Sam shows that Sam doesn't agree with what he's doing, which is the problem.
The preferential treatment is done by a coach who thinks it's in the best interests of the team. It's obviously not working, but they're denying it, aren't they? Souths are denying the accusations.
They are. Yeah. All reports so far is Jason is denying that there's ructions in the playing group. Now, you can argue that that's not the case, Braith. We look at the re-signings lately of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, right? If this is a sinking ship under Jason Demetriou, why is Jai Arrow re-signing? Why is Campbell Graham, Junior Totola, Latrell, Cody Walker, Lachlan Gillies?
They all re-signed at the start of the year.
That's right.
They all re-signed at the start of the year because they looked like to be heading in the right direction. They wanted all their key players. They all took unders to stay with that same team because they thought they could win a premiership with the side that they did have.
Yep.
And it started so good. I mean, they were leading after round 11, but they've just fallen off a cliff. And it's just hard to understand how and why.
Yep.
And to think that it's just the assistant coaches that need to go to fix this problem is beyond me.